I watched my father's mistress smirk at my mother across the courtroom, confident she was about to take everything our house, my mom's savings, even her dignity. She had no idea that in 10 minutes, the evidence my mother and I had gathered would destroy her entire plan and send my father to prison. Hi, I'm Rachel, and this is the story of how my father's affair partner tried to steal my mother's entire life, and how my mom and I teamed up to make sure she lost everything instead. If you love stories about women protecting each other and cheaters getting what they deserve, you're in the right place. Like, share, and subscribe to Revenge Stories X, because this revenge was a mother-daughter mission, and it was absolutely worth it. Let me take you back to 18 months ago, when my parents' marriage was still picture perfect. Or so I thought. My parents had been married for 32 years. Dad was a successful real estate developer. Mom was a devoted wife who'd given up her nursing career to raise me and support his business. They seemed happy. Date nights, anniversary trips, holding hands at family dinners. I'd always hoped to have a marriage like theirs. I was so naive. Mom was 55 and had spent 3 decades building Dad's empire. She managed his properties, did his bookkeeping, hosted his clients, made him look good. She had no income of her own. Everything was in his name for tax purposes. She trusted him completely. She'd sacrificed her career, her independence, her identity, all for him. Last spring, Dad started acting different. Working late, going to the gym suddenly, buying new clothes. Mom mentioned it to me over lunch. "Your father's having a midlife crisis." She laughed, but her eyes were worried. I told her she was overthinking it. I was wrong. So wrong. Mom found the texts in June. Dad left his iPad at home and a message popped up. "Can't wait to see you tonight, baby." She has no idea. Mom's hands shook as she opened the messages. Months of conversations with someone named Amber, sexual messages, plans to meet, promises, and worse, discussions about leaving Mom. Taking everything, starting fresh. Mom did something brave and terrifying. She went to the hotel where Dad and Amber were meeting, confronted them in the lobby. Amber was 32 younger than me, beautiful, confident, cruel. She looked at my 55-year-old mother and laughed. "He doesn't love you anymore. He hasn't in years. Just sign the papers and move on." Mom came home distraught. Dad moved out that week, didn't apologize, didn't explain, didn't even look ashamed. He moved in with Amber. Within days, his lawyer served Mom with divorce papers. The terms were brutal. He wanted the house, the vacation property, his business accounts. He offered Mom $50,000 total after 32 years of marriage. My mother, who built his empire, was being offered pocket change. It got worse. Dad and Amber started a campaign to paint Mom as lazy and ungrateful. They told everyone Mom never worked a day in her life and lived off his money. They conveniently forgot she ran his business for free for decades. Dad's friends stopped calling Mom. His family took his side. Amber posted photos of her and Dad on social media, rubbing it in Mom's face. Mom fell apart. She'd been a wife for 32 years and suddenly had no identity, no income, no home security. She was too old to start over in nursing. She had no recent work history. Dad controlled all the money. She couldn't even afford a good lawyer. I found her crying on the kitchen floor one night, unable to breathe, having a panic attack. Dad's lawyer sent threatening letters. If Mom didn't sign the settlement, they'd drag out the divorce for years and drain any money she might get in legal fees. They'd make her look incompetent in court. They had resources, she had nothing. Dad was betting Mom would be too scared, too broken, too defeated to fight back. He underestimated both of us. Then came the cruelest blow. Amber was pregnant. Dad was going to be a father again at 58. He posted about it proudly. New chapter, new family. Comments congratulated him. No one mentioned my mother, erased like she never existed. Mom saw the post and didn't speak for 2 days. She just stared at walls. I'd never seen her so empty. I was 28, working as a paralegal. I'd been saving for a house, but watching my mother be destroyed changed my priorities. I withdrew my entire savings, $30,000, and hired Mom the best divorce lawyer in the state. "We're gonna fight," I told her, "and we're going to win. But first, we needed evidence. Real evidence. Real evidence." Something didn't add up. Dad claimed he had no money to give Mom a fair settlement, yet he just bought Amber a luxury car and they were living in a penthouse. I started digging. As a paralegal, I knew how to search records. I found property deeds, bank statements, business filings. The more I dug, the more I found. And what I found was explosive. Dad had been hiding money for years. He had offshore accounts, properties in other states under LLC names, investments Mom knew nothing about. He was worth over $4 million, not the $500,000 he'd claimed in divorce filings. He'd been planning this for a long time, slowly moving assets where Mom couldn't find them, preparing to leave her with nothing. Worse, I found forged documents. Dad had forged Mom's signature on papers that transferred their house solely into his name 3 years ago. Mom never signed those papers. She'd never even seen them. He'd committed fraud, and we had proof. The house Mom thought was half hers had been stolen from her years before the affair. Here's where it got really interesting. Amber wasn't just the mistress, she was Dad's business partner. I found emails between them dating back 5 years. She'd been helping him hide assets, create fake companies, move money. This affair had been going on for years, and she was actively helping him defraud my mother. They'd planned this together, meticulously. I hired a private investigator, cost me another $5,000. What he found was shocking. Amber wasn't pregnant, she'd faked the whole thing. Posted fake ultrasound photos she'd found online. The pregnancy announcement was manufactured to hurt my mother and make Dad look like he was moving on to a better life. It was psychological warfare, calculated cruelty. When I showed Mom everything I'd found, something shifted in her eyes. The broken woman disappeared. The woman who'd built a business from nothing, who'd raised me alone while Dad traveled, who'd survived cancer 5 years ago. That woman came back. "Let's destroy them," she said quietly. We spent 3 months building an airtight case. Our lawyer advised us to stay quiet, let Dad think Mom was too weak to fight, let him believe his lowball offer would be accepted. Meanwhile, we gathered more evidence. Bank records, forged documents, emails between Dad and Amber planning me asset hiding, the fake pregnancy proof. We built a case so solid it was unbeatable, and we waited for court. The divorce hearing arrived. Dad showed up in an expensive suit, Amber beside him in designer clothes, both looking smug. Mom and I sat across from them. Dad's lawyer presented their offer again, $50,000, no house, no business stake. "Mrs. Chen has no claim to assets she didn't earn," his lawyer said. Amber actually smiled. She thought she'd won. Our lawyer stood up. "Your Honor, we have evidence of extensive fraud, asset hiding, and forgery." Dad's face went pale. We presented everything. The offshore accounts, $2.1 million hidden. The forged property transfer documents with Mom's fake signature. The 5-year affair with emails proving Amber helped hide assets. The fake pregnancy. Every single piece of evidence documented and verified, but we'd saved the best for last. My investigator had found something incredible. Dad had been using Mom's nursing license number. She'd kept it active to inflate medical property values in his deals. He'd committed fraud using her credentials without her knowledge. This wasn't just divorce, it was criminal fraud. The judge's face darkened as he read the evidence. Dad tried to speak, to explain, but our lawyer cut him off with more evidence. Photos of Amber and Dad in offshore tax havens he'd claimed were business trips. Wire transfers to hidden accounts. Forged documents with timestamps proving when he'd faked Mom's signature. Dad's lawyer looked sick. He hadn't known about any of this. Dad had lied to everyone, including his own attorney. Amber tried to leave. "I have nothing to do with this," she stammered. Our lawyer pulled out the emails, her emails, helping Dad hide money, discussing how to minimize what the old lady gets. She'd called my mother the old lady. The judge asked Amber to sit down. She was now implicated in financial fraud. Her face went white. The smirk was gone. The judge was furious. He ordered an immediate freeze on all of Dad's assets, ordered a full forensic audit, stated clearly that fraud had occurred and criminal charges would likely follow. Then he looked at my mother. "Mrs. Chen, given the extensive fraud and asset hiding, I'm awarding you temporary possession of the marital home and 75% of all discovered assets pending criminal investigation." Within 2 weeks, the district attorney filed criminal charges against Dad for fraud, forgery, and tax evasion. Amber was charged as an accomplice. Both faced up to 10 years in prison. Dad's real estate license was suspended, his business collapsed. Properties were seized. Everything he'd built, The empire my mother actually built came crashing down, and he did it to himself. Dad's new lawyer, the old one quit, begged for a settlement to avoid trial. Mom got the house, 80% of all marital assets, $3.2 million, full ownership of the business properties HE had managed, and spousal support for life. Dad was left with legal debt, criminal charges, and Amber, who immediately broke up with him when his money dried up. Amber lost everything: her job, conflict of interest, her apartment, couldn't afford it, her social media following. People exposed her fake pregnancy and fraud. The fake pregnancy reveal went viral. She became the poster child for mistresses who help married men hide assets. She ended up moving back to her hometown in disgrace. No more designer clothes, no more luxury life, just consequences. Dad took a plea deal to avoid prison, 5 years probation, massive fines, community service, permanent criminal record. He's 58, living in a studio apartment, working retail because no one will hire him in real estate anymore. Amber left him the day his money was gone. He has nothing. His new family fantasy evaporated. He destroyed his real family for a mirage. Mom is thriving. At 56, she went back to school to update her nursing credentials. She volunteers at a women's shelter helping other women escape financial abuse. She bought a small condo in Florida with her settlement money. She's dating a kind widower she met at church. She smiles again. Real smiles. She got her identity back, plus financial security. She won. The best part? Mom and I became closer than ever. We've been through war together and won. She tells people I saved her life, but she's wrong. She saved herself. I just gave her the tools. We have Sunday dinners every week. We laugh about how Amber thought she could outsmart us. Two women who'd been underestimated our whole lives showed everyone exactly what we were capable of. My father thought he could discard my mother after 32 years and leave her with nothing. He thought she was too old, too broken, too dependent to fight back. He forgot that I was watching. He forgot that women who survive decades of sacrifice are stronger than they look. And he definitely forgot that we were a team. If this story inspired you, hit that like button and share it with any woman who needs to remember her strength. Subscribe to Revenge Stories X for more stories of people who refuse to be victims. My name is Rachel, and remember, never underestimate a mother and daughter fighting together. We will burn down empires to protect each other.